The seeds for the ecumenical movement was sown at the Edinburgh Missions Conference in 1910, when missionaries from all over the world deliberated on the question, how do we effectively share the gospel of Jesus Christ to this generation? They deliberated continuously to find ways and means of working together for the sake of the gospel, and that gave birth to the ecumenical spirit. As a result of this, there was a lot of missionary conferences that took place in the southern part of Asia. In 1912, John Mott visited India and Sri Lanka often, promoting the cause of ecumenism for the sake of the gospel. In 1914, this led to the formation of the Missionary Council of India, Ceylon and Burma. This decision was taken on the 4th and 5th of February at the YMCA building in Calcutta. The first president of this new council was Reverend G.A. Lefroy. And in 1923, the name was changed to National Missionary Council of India, Ceylon and Burma, responding to the rising tide of nationalism and the growth of independence movements all over the parts of South Asia. The first Indian secretary, since it was made the National Missionary Council, was Mr. P.O. Philip. And the first Indian president was Reverend Azariah. Later, Reverend William Payton of the YMCA became the first full-time secretary. And in the following years, many regional councils were formed, especially in India, and the Jaffna Christian Union was one such effort that sprang in the northern part of Sri Lanka. In 1941, Ceylon separated from the South Asian body and formed its own Ceylon Christian Council so that we can address to the issues that was emerging in our country in our own way. And this council later became the National Christian Council of Ceylon. We deliberately decided to retain this name so that it was not only a council of churches, but bringing together into its fold the national ecumenical organizations that operated at that time, like the YMCA, YWCA, Bible Society, and so on. The first part-time General Secretary was Reverend Dr. D.T. Niles. Since then, with many deliberations about ecumenical endeavors that took place in Ceylon, many fruitful ventures were formulated. One of those important areas of work was the formation of the Subhasha Theological College, which is now known as the Theological College of Lanka, Pilimatalawa, to train our own clergy, and the Institute of Buddhist Studies that was run by the Council, and the publication of theological books. The responsibility was transferred to the Theological College. The National Council also was responsible in fostering the work of Study Center under the able guidance of Reverend G.B. Jackson, which was later formed into the Ecumenical Institute for Study and Dialogue. The counseling ministry was another pioneering effort of the result of the ecumenical venture. They also showed much concern for the differently abled, and the Home for the Mentally Handicapped was another ecumenical venture which is still functioning in Nugegoda. The Preetipura homes in Hendala had its roots in the National Christian Council of Sri Lanka. In 1983, responding to the riots that erupted, a relief and rehabilitation unit was set up, followed by the Commission on Justice and Peace and the Women's Commission. Around the same time, two other important ventures were inaugurated. The Department of Christian Education, which formulated an ecumenical Sunday school syllabus and monitored Christian education in state schools, and the Department of Communication, which dealt with radio, TV programs, and at that time also spent considerable effort on promoting Christian art, drama, songs, etc. The Christian Homes Committee was another important aspect of our work that promoted Christian values in family and also strengthened the work on counseling. In 1983, the Janakala studio was inaugurated, and at that time, that was the most modern studio in Sri Lanka. Most of the A-grade artists in Radio Ceylon, now known as the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, and the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation had their beginnings in this studio. In 1991, the first Secretariat building was built and was dedicated to the glory of God at 368/6 Baudaloka Mawatha, Colombo 7, in which premises the Secretariat still stands today.